Hey guys, it's Ash, and today we're going to be talking about Divergent by Veronica Roth. So this is a dystopian book, and it's about a girl named Beatrice who lives in a world where there's 5 different factions, and each faction represents a different value that the people within that faction hold the highest and think that is the most important. For example, Abnegation, which is the faction that Triss comes from, it values selflessness, and then Dauntless values bravery, Candor values honesty, Erudite values education, and Amity values peace. So basically, Triss is coming to this age, the age of 16, where she's able to choose whether she wants to stay in the faction that she is in now, or if she decides to go to another one. She has to take this aptitude test where it tests you to see what faction you would be best in and which one you have the most to offer, I guess. And she takes the test and she realizes that she has an aptitude for three different factions. And that's kind of where our story really takes off. Divergent was a really great read. I had a lot of fun going through it. It was so interesting and it just kept me hooked the entire time. I don't think that there was one moment when I was actually bored. It was so exciting and just so different from how the world is now that I was constantly hooked. So if you haven't read it, seriously, I would definitely recommend it. It's high up on the list of my favorites. So if you haven't read it, you should probably go away now because we're going to be discussing it and there's going to be spoiling and I don't want to ruin the book for you. So, bye! So this is definitely a world that I would not be able to survive in. Every single faction has a downfall, and if you're not in one of the factions, then you're factionless and you're basically a hobo. And I do not want to be a hobo. In Abnegation, you can't have a mirror, and you can't look at yourself, and you can't do anything that's self-indulgent, and that would suck. That means that you can't have fun, basically. And then in Dauntless, you're freaking risking your life every 2 seconds. In Erudite, you're just sitting there studying all day, which would totally be a bummer. Candor, you have to, oh gosh, when Christina was talking about how you have to take that, the truth serum for the Candor initiation process, I would have died. That would be so horrible. Who wants to spout out every single secret that they have in front of everyone in your, new faction? That would be terrible. I would not be able to do that. I would probably drop out. And Amity, I don't know what Amity does, but that would just be bad. You're just happy all the time. I like arguing and debating, and I would not make it in that faction. I would probably end up factionless in this book. I would be a hobo. I would have to be. That'd be terrible though. Who was the genius that decided, hey, let's separate everyone and let them only have basically one personality trait? Why can't someone be honest and smart? Why can't someone be brave and smart? I guess they can, because that's what the Divergent is, that's what Triss is, but seriously, why is that looked down upon? Why can you only be brave or smart or selfless? Why can't you be all of those mixed up in one? I think the reason I like Triss so much is because she was like that. She was smart and she was brave and she was also selfless, and that just kind of mixed up and made a really good and interesting character that I really enjoyed reading from. All of her internal conflicts and external conflicts that she was having to deal with were so interesting, and I just loved seeing the way that she handled those things. The thought of not being able, even if you finish the initiation in Dauntless, which is the faction that she chose, even if you don't finish it, if you don't finish within the top 10 of your class, then you're kicked out, which would be totally horrible. She did all of those things, went through all of that terrible, scary stuff, and she wouldn't be in the faction anyway. Not to mention that, sabotage wasn't necessarily looked down upon, because it was kind of a brave thing to do. You're risking being caught, and that's brave to some of the Dauntless, which was really horrible. I hated Peter. Peter was such a little, when he stabbed that kid in the eye, I wanted Triss to get up and punch him. That would be bad because Triss isn't very good at punching people, but still, I was so mad. Like, where's Four when you need him? Where's Four to punch this guy out? There's so many like just heart racing moments when she was climbing the Ferris wheel. I was so afraid that like she or Four was going to fall off, and I was having a panic attack. Like I said in my last video about my 25 facts, hate heights. I would not be able to do that. Oh my gosh, there were so many height things too in this book. I was getting sick to my stomach thinking about the cavern. That was terrifying, and Christina had to hang off of that. Freaking Eric. Eric made her do that. I hate Eric. Who is he? Like, he's like some 16-year-old punk. Why isn't Four the leader? Four is so much better than him. Ugh. Speaking of Four, though, he was a really, really great character. I loved him. I loved his relationship with Triss, and I liked how he didn't stifle her. I liked how he let her be brave. Like, could you see that in a lot of YA books where where the hero will try to protect the main character, and he'll just, by doing that, he'll kind of like push her into being cowardly. And I liked how Four really pushed Triss up and really just made her more brave. He gave her courage to do some of the things that she wouldn't normally do. And I thought that it was so sweet when he brought her into his fear landscape and he was like letting her see that with him. Oh, I was so happy. I was like, yes, finally. And that twist at the end where he was Tobias, I did not even connect that. That was really, really well played, because I was not even, when he said that he was Tobias, I was completely shocked. I had not connected that. I hadn't even thought about it. It hadn't crossed my mind at all. So I was shocked. I was shocked with Triss, and it was really good. I liked that surprise. It's really interesting how he comes from the same faction as her. They're like, did they never, I guess she said that she never really saw him, but did he never see her? Like, did he know immediately who she was? And like, when she first showed up, that was so epic. How she just fell off of the roof into the hole. I was so happy that she did that in front of all of them. I was like, yes, you just do that, Triss. Good job. I was so happy that she did that. I really love seeing her succeed in this book. I like seeing how she wasn't necessarily the biggest or the strongest, but she was still holding her own among all of these people trying to make it into this faction. And I love that about her. I loved how she was looked at as a threat, because like no one would think that she would be all that much of competition, but she really was. The end was so scary. I was freaking out about how all the other Dauntless were under simulation except for Triss. When she found Four and he wasn't under simulation, I was so happy. And I was so relieved, because I was like, thank goodness, if Four and Triss are not under it, everything's gonna be fine. And then Janine showed up, and she put freaking Four under stimulation, and she captured Triss and put her in that tank. But when her mom came, I was really surprised. I did not think that her mom would play that big of a role in the end, or really at all. And when she told her that she had been Dauntless, she had been a Dauntless transfer, I was shocked. I had not seen that coming, but I guess like it kind of makes sense, because when she went to visit Trish on visiting day, she was kind of familiar with everything. I didn't really look too far into that, but I guess there was hinting that she had been Dauntless transferred, but still, I was really, really impressed with how that worked out. Gosh, when Triss was in that fear simulation at the end with everyone watching, and she had that fear about Tobias wanting to have sex with her, I was, the humiliation. I was having such bad secondhand embarrassment for her. That would be so terrible. So I think that my favorite part of this book was the fear simulations that Triss and Four had to go through, just because it was so interesting, and it made me really think about like, what would my fears be, and how many would I have, and how would I be able to deal with that, going through that? Would I be divergent like Triss, or would I have to deal with it like all the normal people had to deal with it? And also, throughout this entire book, I was just wondering like, what faction would I be in? I would want to be in Dauntless, but I don't think that would work out very well because of my fear of heights. But I don't think I'd be fit well in any other faction. Do they have a quiz? Is there like a quiz thing I could take that will tell me like which faction I would be best in? Because if there is, I want to take it. Because I'm really interested in that. I want to know like, would I be erudite? God, I hope not. I think that the best would probably just have to be, I would either just deal with my fears at Dauntless, or I would, or, uh, it's between Abnegation and Amity, I think, and Dauntless. I would really want to be in Dauntless, just because Triss and Four and all those cool people are in there. But yeah, what faction do you think that you would be in? And also, how did you enjoy this book? Did you think that it was really good? Did you think it was as interesting as I did? Because I thought that it was just amazing. I loved everything about it. I would give it a 95. I would give it an A. It was good. It was a really good book. I don't think it's 100%, but it was really good. Thank you for watching. Tell me your thoughts about this book in the comments below. Like if you want, subscribe, that'd be awesome. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Freaking Janine.